How has COVID isolation affected the adolescent population? This population, in my opinion, is affected much more. What happened? They were pulled from school and their world was ripped apart. Why is it more problematic in the adolescent individual? Well, everything about adolescence is about peer interaction, group interaction. They're at the stage of development where they have not developed their social skills. They have not developed their identity. And when they're in groups, when they're at school, when they're doing after school programs, they're interacting with peers, they're developing who they are, and they're developing how to interact with other people. All this was stopped during COVID-19. You don't have school, you don't have after-school programs, you don't have sports, you don't have band, you don't have music, you don't have art, you don't have travel baseball, you don't have band, you don't have choir, you don't have church. Well, their ability to get their social skills, learn social skills, and to develop and form their identity is lost. So I'll get to what we can do about this. But what I'm seeing is just more depressed, anxious, panicky, overweight, poor eating, poor sleeping, poor grooming, poor social skills, withdrawn, poor dressing, poor behaviors. And I went into that other video. You can watch the video, The Consequences of COVID-19, but this video is more what we can do to sort of remedy the problem. Because now we're out of the isolation. We're sort of in a partial isolation, kind of a purgatory. We're not normal, but we're not abnormal. I don't know what we are. It's not in the textbook, so this is what I'm seeing, and I work mostly with adolescents. So the key here is we need to, one, re-engage them with their peers immediately. I know, Dr. Agresti, you're so naive. They'll infect us. They'll get infected. Figure out a way. We must get a hybrid where they can get together. And they need to get together as quickly as possible. You must get at least small groups of children together. And when I say that, these two must be scheduled activities on a regular basis, because the dynamics of development, social structure, development of empathy, development of social identity, and I'll get into that in depth, it must be scheduled interactions. And why? Scheduled interactions because there must be a group goal. And the kids and the adolescents must have a goal and try and achieve that goal. Being in the Scouts, getting merit badges, being in a volleyball team, working as a team and developing as a team, in a debate team, in a rocketry club, in an art. The goal is for them to work together and to produce something. Movie club, some sort of computer club where they all work together to make something happen. And through the dynamics of a common goal, they develop social skills and identity. There must be, this would be the fourth thing, group problem solving. They must be faced with a challenge and try and overcome that challenge. What goes on today? I've even seen some young guys do investing challenge or theater challenges or doing a play, something. They must problem solve together. What else is important? As primates, part of identity is reestablishing a hierarchy on your level of strength, skills, intelligence, and you need to decide where you fit in society, and that's becoming your identity. All avenues of intelligence, skills, sporting skills, computer skills, social media skills, fashion skills. So you need to be dealing with your peer group to decide where you fit in the hierarchy. That's what primates do. They line up and figure out who has skills in what areas and who's the best and who's the not as good. There's something very important, sexual tension among adolescents. I'm not saying they're having sex, but that sexual tension is part of development and how they modulate and manage these sexual feelings and turn them into appropriate behaviors. All the dynamics there, that's a whole nother talk of their developing sexual identity. Whatever their sexual identity is, it's formed in adolescence. These activities, this would be number 7, are clearly distinct from adult activities. You can't transplant adult activities into a peer group of kids and expect them to grow. They have to have their own activities. They may be doing the same thing as adults, but let them do it their way, because it won't be the same. If you have a bunch of kids say, you guys get together and work on your dance, your art, your music, it won't be the same as what adults will do. So these activities must be clearly distinct and separate from adults. A key component of adolescent development is separation from their parents and what their parents do. During this phase in adolescence, they must be able to specialize in certain areas. That's why being at home is no good. And being isolated. Through their peer interactions, they divide up into groups. Who's the best? Who's the trendsetter? Who's the alpha female? Who's the alpha male? Who's the athlete? Who's the computer guy? Who's the trendsetter with clothes? Who represents what a girl should be, a boy should be? Who represents what a gay boy or a gay girl should be? Who represents what a transsexual? And they teach each other and they define what's right. They establish morality. They establish what art, what music that generation will have, but only through interaction with one another. They develop their own culture within our culture. It's absolutely critical. This is not taking place during this isolation. It's some kind of weird abortion of development. I'm saying it is not good in any way. It is traumatic. And I'm saying we re-engage our adolescent population immediately in these activities I'm talking about, and for the reasons I'm talking about. It is critical, this would be number 9, that at this point, too much time with their parents will undermine confidence, will undermine identity, will undermine their sense of self, will undermine their creativity, their self-worth. They must be separate from their parents and explore the different social skills, specialized traits, skills that they need for development. And if you're thinking it's too dangerous, I really think it's too dangerous not to. I think this is so important. We must have these kids be around each other. They must get back into their peer groups. We have to figure out a way to do it. The society can't die. We're stunting the growth. I have no idea what the consequences of what's going on to our adolescents. They're not fully formed people. They may not be fully formed till they're 23, 24. We're stunting their growth. Now I'm hearing camp is canceled. Maybe the fall semester will be some hybrid where they don't go to school every day. I'm not sure what they're doing with all the after-school activities, but you need to make after-school activities, and we need to create them in small, safe groups somehow. I haven't figured out how to do it, but we need to work on it. And that's what I have to say about that topic. I would appreciate if people subscribe to my channel. I'm at 941. I need to get to 1,000. I appreciate your help. I've got a lot of interesting topics. If you like this video, go back and look at my other COVID isolation topics and adolescent depression, adolescent ADD. Some interesting stuff there. Bye.